What's good, y'all? Welcome to Mega March. I'm Magnus Zero, and today's story revolves around a little Mega Man gadget that I'm sure most newer fans didn't know existed. And, oh boy, do I have a wild little event that happened with this thing in particular. If you're familiar with the Mega Man Battle Network series, you know that the portable terminal that the characters use to operate their navis are the PETs, an acronym for Personal Terminal. Well, what if I told you that us fans back in the day had the honor of having actual PETs? Sure, they were fake, but they were manufactured by a Japanese toy company called Takara. And then Mattel, an American distributor, was in charge of bringing these to the non-Japanese countries. I had one of these doodads sometime after they hit the American shelves. The Mega Man NT Warrior anime was pretty hot at the time, so these were advertised under the anime's name as opposed to the game's. I'm a massive Mega nerd regardless of any of the franchise's sub-series, so I was crazy about the Battle Network games and the anime at the time. I had NT Warrior action figures, and I even had an NT Warrior hoodie that I got out of Sears. Yeah, that dead department store. Oh god, I wish I had the hoodie in a bigger size because I could no longer fit it after a while. Anyway, when I spotted one of those PETs in our local Walmart, I was immediately mesmerized. My wild imagination had already triggered various scenarios that play out. Me, PET in hand, busting viruses that were clearly in that freaking vending machine at my dad's workplace, the one that kept stealing my quarters. I had some allowance money left over to buy one immediately. My mom was surprised that I got that as opposed to a game, but man, she truly underestimated the lengths I'd go through for anything Mega Man related. So there I was, with my Mega Man styled PET, ripping open that plastic to embark upon my virus busting adventures, with several starter battle chips packaged in. But I ran into one simple problem. I didn't know how to use it. The manual kept telling me all about the cool little skirmishes I could have with the viruses when the toy would light up, but I could never get the thing to detect the virus. Granted, I was kind of a dumb kid, so I probably missed a line or two in the instructions, but I remember feeling so cheated because all I could do is navigate the menus and stare at Mega Man EXE in all of his black pixelated glory. Until one weird event. My family made me tag along with them to a hospital visit to see a relative. I brought the PET with me for no particular reason, maybe to just daydream with the thing to pass the time because yes, I was a big daydreamer as a kid. If I couldn't get it to work, I'd just leave it to my imagination instead. So I had it in the bigger buttoned up pocket of my shorts. Sometime after we finished the visit with the relative, we were on our way back down the elevator to leave the building. When we stepped off the elevator, I just heard a loud chirping sound blare from my pocket. Both my parents and I were startled by this, obviously, and that's when it hit me. The PET. I clutched it in my palms, still confused, but the red light was finally blinking rapidly as the words "virus detected" or something like that flashed on screen. That lacked any sort of backlight, by the way. My parents were like, "Turn that thing off," and I'm like, "I don't know how!" The only thing I could do is fight the virus to shut it up. And this was creepy, by the way, because I recently played through Battle Network 3 at the time. And right before we visited the hospital, I was at the part of the game where you fought Plant Man EXE to save the hospital in Beach Town. So my child brain was like, did Plant Man invade our hospital too? I've got to stop him. Sadly, I was greeted with just a Met virus instead, but hey, it was still a novel experience to say the least. I fought it while my parents were driving back home. That's when I realized that in order to get viruses to show up, you had to shake that thing like you were mixing a drink or something. Or just walk around like I did and your emotions will just trigger it. It was an awkward gaming experience, but I still cherish that memory. It was reminiscent of a time where things were just made with pure passion, despite them not being the most well-executed products. I'd love to get my hands on one of these again for nostalgia's sake, and I'd recommend it too, but these things didn't sell too well, so you'd be spending a pretty penny if you really wanted one, either for collection's sake or just to experience the novelty of it. But that about wraps it up for me. Many thanks to CoFam for giving me this opportunity. You can usually just find me goofing off on my YouTube channel, Magnus Zero, So, if you're interested in high-level Mega Man gameplay, or listening to random stories like this but longer, or just chilling with my silly self in my casual live streams, hit me up over there. Have yourselves a great time with the rest of Mega March, and stay chill, y'all.